Hello and welcome. I'm Michael. I'm joined by Craig and the one and only Jolly Ollie. How we doing, Jolly?
Yeah, really good, lads. Thanks for having us on.
No worries, mate. We're just doing something different, doing a bit of Blackburn v Leeds prediction, or a bit of upcoming preview for the match. Craig, how we doing, mate?
Pretty good.
Good, good, good. So, Ollie, seeing you want to guess, mate. Out of Blackburn's players, who should Leeds be worried about? Like, who's like your best players?
I think the standout player, and he was effectively our marquee signing, really, is Todd Cantwell. Been
Yeah,
away effectively in the wilderness for a couple of seasons up in Scotland. He's come down, and I tell you what, game by game, he has adapted better to the Championship, and Championship is ultimately where he shone. And if we remember, it wasn't too long ago, he was getting touted about going to Tottenham for 30, 40 million. I think Rose are very blessed to have a player like him. We've got him on a 2 year deal. I don't think that's going to last the whole 2 years, but I think that, especially in the last couple of games, Eustace has built a team around him. He's been an incredible dictator of the game. It's almost like the pivot, the sixpence that sits in the middle. And yeah, he's definitely one of our shining stars.
yeah, I did like him when he was at Norwich. Obviously, Owen Burke as well, or Owen Beck, sorry, decent player for you guys, and Yuki Ohasho, is it, or Hoashi?
Yeah.
If I've
See,
pronounced the
you,
name completely wrong.
it's all right. I'm sure he won't be offended anyway. Um, but Yuki, we've lost the goals. We were told, by the way, we've lost the goals this season by Sammy Simonics going on to bigger and better things. I'm sure all Leeds fans will remember Sammy Simonics from last season. I'm sure he still
I
gives you
knew that was
nightmares.
coming. Knew that was
Um,
coming.
but however, let's Eustace this year is he's had some goals, and one of them's for the squad to start delivering more output, more goals, more contributions. And Ohashi, we love his energy. He has been off the boil recently. That's not to say that he's had really bad performances. It's just a case of against Stoke City, a phenomenal goalkeeper a couple games ago. He's had chances. He's been involved in all the goals and going forward. So he has been an integral part, but Rose still missing essential number 9, Owen Beck. There's I don't know how to describe it. I mean, you gents will know as well your classic left backs. I know everybody plays a sort of the Pep Man City style of football nowadays with your win back. I don't know how they work out. This boy to come in against Burnley, be his first game, and he thought the whole occasion might get to him. He stepped up incredibly well. He was throwing himself in tackles. He was venturing past 2 or 3 people. And we all know as well, we all love a player that runs at people, pulls players out of position, makes space for your team. He is phenomenal. And if you would have seen the goal the other day, and going back to Cantwell as well, those two, Cantwell and Beck, and I'm sure, and I know it's offside anyway, but the work rate, the play they made there to put us into that position to get a goal, yeah, Owen Beck. You should never fall in love with a lone player. Never fall in love with a lone player. But it's too late now. It's too late. It's happened.
Yeah, we love a good lone player at Leeds and how we fall in love with them. Craig, is there anyone from the Blackburn side that you're worried about or not? If you know any of
Um,
their players, that is.
well, like I said with Todd Cantwell, I mean, I think Leeds were after him not a few seasons ago when they were talking when he went north of the border
Yeah.
instead. So yeah, good player at this level, and I don't know really if because Blackburn's always been one of those fixtures where it kind of like some most of the time it favours us. Last season it didn't. So um,
I mean, head to head record, we've won 48, drawn 23, and lost 33. I mean, head to head, it's just there in it, just for a bit of
yeah,
laugh, really bit of fun. I mean, main person I'm worried about is Tyrese Dolan. I think he's a decent player. I know that you don't, Ollie, but I think he is. quality player, and I just think he's too good for you.
See, right now, as a person that we've come through our, we plucked out Harry Stolen from Preston many years ago, and he is. It's Jekyll and Hyde with me, and I think, and I can speak for this, I think it's the same with most Rovers fans. Um, I know he's a young lad. I know he's had some troubled times from things that have happened off the pitch that will affect him, on the pitch. And I give him due for what he does as a footballer and what he's like as a human being off it. But sometimes there's elements of his game which he just doesn't need to do in the final third. When he's on form, he can be a really good player. But as we said, some of the best players, gents, need to have a form of consistency. And we just don't get that from him half the time. And I'm no going to be a negative am when I say that. And if he's the lad that goes and bags 2 or 3 on Saturday and he's doing the backflips, I'll be there trying to do a backflip with him, even though I'll probably hopelessly just do a roly poly. But I don't
I'd love
highly
to see
rate him
that.
I know, and I'm sure a lot of people would see that as well. However, he's not my most favourable Blackburn player. He is a danger man. I think at times there's a lot of things he can improve. He's he's in good hands with Eustace, put it that way. You can sort of tailor him and blend him in when he can. But I also think that without him, we do play better football.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not confessed to know too much about it. I don't watch you week in, week out. So obviously, you know more than what I would do. But let's talk about Leeds then. Who are you worried the most about out of everyone at the Leeds team?
As you said before, when you hear everybody on social media, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it may be, other teams have always got an opinion on your team. Now, the lucky thing about Leeds, be it the big club that Leeds are, as much as don't want to, can't deny it, you do see a lot of Leeds on TV. I have been impressed. I do like the fact that Leeds don't quit, a sort of mentality. You saw that against Swansea. I'm sure your gents were looking from a different point of view, but in terms of a spectacle and football theatre, it was brilliant to watch. I like Willie Nonto. I think he's a really good player. Last year, I thought as well, losing players like Somerville and Rutter, I wonder whether Leeds were going to get any form of direction going forward, somebody to pass the ball, move it a bit quicker. Do you know what? He was an ex-Rovers player, and I think he will get half boos and half applause. But Joe Rothwell, I do like. I was a fan of Joe Rothwell. He's a guy that could pick the ball up from defence, and he would drive forward. He'd take on 2 or 3 people. He'd put you into a space that allowed the number 9 just to get round the back. He had a great footballing mind, and I loved him from his energy and just his acceleration just to get into the final third. But Leeds, as always, just when you think that it might be the whole Leeds fall apart, they go again. They're well equipped this summer, and at the moment, um, you know, depending on what I see come Saturday, and I am looking forward to playing the Leeds on Saturday. I think Leeds predominantly will be the team that hopefully will get promoted.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, but it's good to get a different perspective on an outside view of Leeds, because like what you said about what you like about us, like we don't give up. Like a lot of Leeds fans, a lot of Leeds fan base saw the Swansea game as like it's that's too much. It's like we've been asking because they keep talking about we play boring football, and then that happens. But a lot of Leeds fans say it's boring usually, and I mean personally I don't, because it's football. I see it in a different way. Um, but yeah, it's good to get another perspective on it like that.
I understand that football at times it's not Harlem Globetrotter. We're not there to backflips and flicks and skill as they say nowadays, the terminology. However, Leeds, when they want to put the gas on, can kill teams off. You saw that midweek against Luton Town. They have that ability of 3 or 4 goals. But you said it there yourself before. I think when you're a team like Leeds and you can bombard teams when they come to Ellen Road and you have that consistency, the second you come up against an opposition, as you did in Swansea, which was a completely different type of game,
Yeah.
right? Where tactically they nailed it on, but you managed to come away with, from a neutral's point of view, a very good game, be it frustration from your point of view, but you have to take those over the season. You have to take the gritty 1-0 victories, maybe the draws away from home you scored last minute, the 0-0s. Teams will, that's what I'm looking forward to with Eustace. I think Rovers under him tactically are very, very good and astute. And what we will do, we'll match you up man to man like it's a game of chess. I remember when you lot came to us last year, and it was such a drab game. I don't think Rovers ever actually contributed to the game. Basically, it was a case of give it to Sammy Simonics and see what we can do. And that was it. I do think that when you come up against us on Saturday, and I've got confidence in what we do, I think that if we eliminate Notto on that side, if we can create space for Owen Beck going down the left, if we can give a role for Tyrese Dolan to either go left or right, and we can make it difficult for your defenders, basically, not looking at what strengths you have, look at what weaknesses you've got and exploit them. And that's what we can do. But Leeds, yet again, I understand that fan bases, the grasping to go back in the Premier League. There's a lot of other teams. There's a big expectations, a big, well-supported football club. But all I'd say to Leeds fans is, I know it took several years to get back in the Prem, but based on what I see so far this season, the trajectory would tell me that you lot will probably be in the Prem. So, bite your teeth.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, because that's what we talk about, isn't it, Mike? That it's what we see. These are comfortable 1-0, 2-0 wins that we get. It's when we come up against teams like Swansea, where it's like a 4-3 like that. That's where it gets a bit cagey, because in the past we've fell foul to them games, and it is a thing. But like you said, that last season it were a bit of a drab game with Blackburn, and I think this game, if you were saying that Blackburn will match us up man to man, that will suit Leeds.
Mm.
Yeah, I
It will do.
completely agree. If you do come at us, it will suit our game. I've said it so many times that when teams come at us and play against us, we can counter attack. We can break on the attack really, really quickly.
And
Yeah,
you
the
know
fact
what?
that you beat us last season was because of that. You were playing that counter attack, and that's why you beat us, because we can't
And you
break
know,
that down.
and you know what? Look, I know we've talked about it before the result, and if anybody was seeing on social media, and I'm not just saying it because of Leeds, that was the most. I think for me personally in the championship, in the context of that season, I think it was the most phenomenal result of the season. We've just been hampered 5-0 away at Bristol City. Eustace had not really had a managerial bounce his first win. He'd been really struggling at home. He tactically didn't know what he had. Said several times before about plays that he's had last year where he looked at the 20 players he had and he felt we could only use 14. That's what he was really working with. We went to Leeds after getting battered 5-0 on a Wednesday. I thought I'll take a 2-3-0 and we'll move on from here. And for some reason, what we got that day is what the embodiment is in Blackburn's badge, which says hard work and skill. And that's what we got. Got men that threw the body on the line. We stood still, stood our ground, and we had to do what we had to do. And when we got the chance, my God, didn't we take it? And that's how in football sometimes I don't know what it was about Leeds that day. I know there's always this thing about Leeds breaking down at the end of the season. We've heard all the chants, etc. But Rovers tactically that day, we didn't just get lucky. We played it tactically to a T. Now, we'll play a lot differently to what we played at that time because we've got better players this time that will move with the ball. We will venture. And, if we got an opportunity to play and pick Leeds off, we've got it in the bag to go and do that. And I might be saying this because we've come off the back end of having two good wins away from home, be it against Middlesbrough, who, by the way, Middlesbrough are the informed team. But Rovers have got men in the locker. They might not have as much ammunition as what Leeds do, but Rovers have got a couple bullets themselves.
Yeah, And I think it'll be a good game. If you're gonna come and bring the game to us, it'll be a good game to watch.
Yeah, that was obviously a really, really good result for you beating Middlesbrough. Let's move on to the last question before the score predictions. If you could take one player from Leeds United, who would it be? I know you've already alluded to Nonto being the one that you want to watch out for, but if you could take one player out the Leeds side and put into Rovers side, who would it be?
Um, I must admit, same again, gents. To be kind of honest, you got some really talented players in there. Um, I think Solomon's a very good player, really, really good. I think that Blackburn, and I'm speaking as an ex Rovers player. Sorry, no, I'm speaking as as a Blackburn fan here. That I do think that we miss a Joe Rothwell type of player. Um, so I would happily take Rothwell nowadays up there as well. Um, and it's hard to look further than sort of William onto. I do think he's an exceptional player. So I'd love to see something like that for Rovers, playing up in the top three.
I'm quite shocked, first of all, that you said Rothwell. Not that he's a bad player, because I actually really, really do rate him. That out of everybody, that's who you would take. So that's really, really good to hear. Craig, is there anyone from the Blackburn side that you'd take?
Um, I don't know because well, I don't know if Cantwell had fit in because I were kind of like excited that he were linked at one point, but I can't pronounce his name and I don't want to butcher it. Ollie, what's that Japanese player's name? Because he
It's
looks pretty good.
He is Yuki Ohashi. I mean, some would probably just say he's a Duracell battery, which just never stops. The lad is, and I don't know, it is about maybe Japanese, South Asian players. They have a just an abundance of energy.
Yeah,
They just keep going and going and going. They just non-stop. And I always think to myself, when are they going to burn out? But yeah, I must admit, he's brought, I wouldn't say flamboyance. I wouldn't say a lot of skill, but you need players in there that are going to run away, run and chase, and chomp at the back line when you're trying to they're trying to play out, and he gives you that element definitely.
yeah, I like the look of him from what I've seen of him. But it's the same as Tanaka, though, isn't it? He's not. I can't say he's not a. He has got an abundance of everything. So
Yeah, we're not going to mention Tanaka because we'll be here for another 48 hours
yeah,
just talking about that. So let's swiftly move on to score predictions. Craig, I'll go for you first.
you know
I
my
think I
score
know what
prediction.
I know what your
2-0.
score prediction is. It's going to be 2-0. Ollie, what's your score prediction for this game, mate?
See, I'd say I don't say it with confidence, but I say it with optimism, based on the fact of the result we got the other night and how we played. And probably the fact that we didn't play on Saturday might very well work in our favour. I'm going to say a bold prediction. I'm not saying that because I am bold, by the way. So get the pun out of the way. But I'm going to say Rovers 1-0. I'm going to say very sort of tight game. Rovers defending very well at the moment, and I think we'll pick you off 1-0.
I I think if you had lost to Middlesbrough, I would definitely agree with you on that one. Just like obviously losing, especially after last time. I can't remember what I put in the chat, so I'm just going to go for a 2-1 Leeds win. I think you'll score, but I think we will scrape it.
Yeah,
That's just
I did say the other day though, like 2-0's me optimistic score, but I do think this is going to be a tough game, and I can see us coming away with a draw. I think we might draw this.
I probably would. It's what I hate saying that. Everyone knows I hate saying I'll take a point now, but away from home, I probably would take a point, especially after the Middlesbrough result as well.
Yeah,
I
especially
think
when
But
I was just saying.
If Blackburn get onto the form that they've started with as well.
yeah,
From our point of view, lads, as well, is we had a sort of early run in the season of home forms and really good, and just when we've had be it a blip and people thought it was falling off, the Stoke City game that we had at home last time, and we're talking weeks ago now, We battered them, and their keeper was absolutely sensational that day. We then move on to Cardiff, and we take all that we've learned from losing against Sheffield United, which, yet again, Sheffield United are probably the best team I've seen. However, I do not think they got into third or fourth gear. And Rose didn't contribute. We looked very tired and sluggish. I think the days have caught with us. The Cardiff game and the Middlesbrough game, it looks like we just had bags of energy that was saved up. And I still think that it's been so poised this. And I love the fact it is what it is, both on, winning runs in their own different sort of elements. It's an earliest sort of kind of kickoff. You've got Leeds bringing the the always 7,500 strong into the Blackburn end, which will entice any football, any player to be up for an away day as it may be. But I do think as well that Rovers will bring some numbers as they do. We'll give it a good atmosphere in the ground. I think it's got the elements to be a really entertaining game. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I do think it will be entertaining. Craig, you think the same as well.
Yeah.
Right, we'll leave that there. Ollie, thanks for being our first opposition preview guest person. It has been a pleasure. Craig, as always, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Cheers,
Thank
lads.
you very much.